Hello all. To talk about flight blades, it could have all started like this. Last night I lost my ship. Not in the sense that I destroyed it, in the sense that I no longer recognized it. 15 seconds. That's how long it took me to install this little rectangular component in the computer port of my trusty Avenger. And suddenly, this ship I'd been piloting for 4 years became a stranger. First sharp turn in the DLA rings. That familiar sensation of controlled gliding was gone. Instead, a sharp, immediate answer. My ship didn't move like my ship anymore. A flight blade had just rewritten our shared history. Fascinating, isn't it? How can a simple piece of code transform a relationship you thought immutable? It's not just a question of performance, it's a question of identity. And while I was discovering this new dance with my transformed device, I received a message from a friend. You saw on Spectrum it's civil war. I still didn't understand the storm that was brewing. How could a small customization component divide a community so deeply? How could something as intimate as the way your ship responds to your commands become the epicenter of a community earthquake? Because when it comes down to it, these flight blades don't just change the maneuverability of your ships, they touch on something far more fundamental, our vision of what Star Citizen should be. Some see it as the ultimate customization, others as a dangerous precedent, and in between, a line many didn't want to have crossed. So let's put marketing slogans and knee-jerk reactions aside. Let's dive into this story of passion, principle, and piloting. A story that concerns us all, whatever our position in the debate. For beyond the noise and fury of the forums, these flight blades pose an essential question. How far are we prepared to go to shape our experience in the stars? A fantastic innovation, a controversial implementation, a dangerous precedent. Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's dive into what these flight blades really are and how they technically work in the Star Citizen universe. Let's unpack this technology together to understand why it's causing such a stir. Technically speaking, a flight blade is a computer module that installs in your ship's computer ports. But it's not just a piece of metal with a few lines of code. It's a real alternative brain that profoundly reprograms your device's behavior. Currently, CIG has introduced two specific types of blades. D'abord les PHB, Precision Handling Balanced, that sacrifice a little top speed to give you enhanced maneuverability. Imagine replacing your car's big racing tires with thinner, more responsive ones. You lose pure speed but gain responsiveness when cornering. And then we have TSBs, Top Speed Balanced, which do the opposite. They turn your ship into a straight-line rocket, but in return your agility takes a hit. It's more like replacing your racing wheel with a semi-trailer steering wheel. It goes really fast, but good luck with the precise maneuvers. The beauty of this system lies in its uniqueness. Each blade is designed for a specific ship model. It's not ready to wear, it's space haute couture. A flight blade for the Avenger Stalker won't work on an Avenger Titan. Same family but different calibration. Starting to see the ingenuity? CIG doesn't just give us a new item to buy. It offers you a fundamental choice about how you want to exist in the universe. We often talk about meta in games, that optimal configuration that everyone copies because it's statistically superior. But flight blades potentially shatter this concept by allowing everyone to create their own meta tailored to their style of play. I'm telling you, as a pilot who spent a fair amount of time at the controls of these vessels since 2017, a ship well calibrated to your personal style will always be better than a generic setup copied from the internet, even if the latter is theoretically better. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because while the concept is brilliant, the implementation raises huge questions. And that's exactly where the community started to get fired up. If you set foot on Spectrum after the announcement of flight blades, you must have felt the heat. Over 2,000 responses in just a few hours. Thousands of thumbs down, and an avalanche of criticism as passionate as it is justified. But why? Why has a feature that looks so interesting on paper provoked such an outcry? The answer can be summed up in 3 words: pay to win. You see, unlike the ships CIG has been selling since the project began, flight blades aren't just different options. These are direct performance enhancements. And according to the initial announcement, these components would only be available via purchase with real money during an exclusive period, before possibly being accessible in-game this summer. As some blogs report, controversy has erupted as some players believe flight blades should be available for purchase with AWACS now, and offer a pay-to-win advantage to players who buy them, and frankly, we can't prove them wrong. We all backed Star Citizen with the idea that if ships could be bought to speed up our progress, components or upgrades would never be exclusive to the store. What's fascinating and terrifying at the same time is how quickly the community united against this decision. Veterans, content creators, ordinary gamers, all stood up to say enough is enough. I've seen a lot of controversy in Star Citizen. I've seen media storms, but I've never seen such clear unanimity on a subject. Another blog wrote at the time that the ongoing controversy largely revolves around the fact that Flight Blades are a paid gameplay edition available only via the Pledge store. We've accepted cosmetic skins, but sell components that directly affect performance. It's a red line that many refuse to see crossed. Can you see the problem? If today it's Flight Blades, what will it be tomorrow? Shield upgrades? More powerful engines? AI blades to automate turrets? At what point does Star Citizen stop being a game and become a shopping catalog? And the community reaction was so strong that CIG had to quickly reconsider its position. But before we see how they've responded to this storm, analyze the potential long-term implications of such decisions on the game's economy and balance. Because if we now take a step back to observe the full picture, this Flight Blades controversy isn't just an isolated incident. It's a symptom of a fundamental question we all need to ask ourselves. What kind of economy do players want for Star Citizen? Because let's be honest, the way CIG monetizes gaming today will directly shape the gaming experience we'll have tomorrow. Take a moment to imagine Star Citizen in its final version. A persistent universe where every action has consequences, where the economy is dynamic, where everything manufactured must first be extracted, refined, transported. This is the vision that seduced us all, right? Now inject this economy with components that are bought with real money and can never be lost or destroyed. Starting to see the problem? Imagine you're a craftsman in the game. You spend hours creating quality flight blades. Votre business model? Sell these blades to pilots who have lost them in combat or want to try out different configurations. But what if those same pilots can simply buy their blades from the web store with super insurance that makes them indestructible? What's your job all about? It's a disaster for immersion. It's a nightmare for balance. It's a tragedy for the gaming economy. And if you're like me, you've also seen too many games promise a vibrant universe only to end up as thinly disguised shopping catalogs. And personally, I refuse to see Star Citizen go down that road. The beauty of Star Citizen has always resided in its promise of a universe where your actions count, where losing your ship means something, where the economy works because it's fueled by real interactions between players. If everything can be bought, never lost, and simply claimed again, what's left of this promise? Fortunately, the massive reaction from the community shows that there are many of us who share this vision. And most importantly, CIG seems to have listened. But just how much? Speaking of CIG's reaction, in the face of criticism, CIG has stepped in with an official response that deserves our attention. The new Flight Blades will be available in AUEC in our next June update. For future gameplay editions, we'll make sure these items are available in-game from day one. A victory for the community? Without a doubt. But is it enough? Notice the nuances. Star Citizen soothes fan controversy over a new feature with a promise to keep gameplay fair for all players. What does it tell us? As a community, we must remain vigilant, because this controversy has taught us something. It's that the line between supporting development and pay to win can be dangerously fine. But frankly, we can be fair too. If CIG listened, certainly they tried, but they reacted. And it's precisely this dialogue between developers and community that has been Star Citizen's strength from the start. A step back in time today, a lesson learned for tomorrow, a better game for everyone in the future. What fascinates me about this story is how much it reveals the deep attachment we all have for this project. No one would fight with such passion if they didn't believe in Star Citizen's vision. And it's precisely this attachment that means that despite the controversies, despite delays, despite all this, we're continuing to follow the progress of this project like no other. Flight Blades are just one chapter in the complex history of Star Citizen, a chapter that reminds us that the game we'll have tomorrow really depends on the decisions we make today and our collective willingness to defend the original vision. It's a delicate balance between making enough money to develop the game and preserving the integrity of the final experience. It's not really a problem unique to Star Citizen, but it's a problem that we, as gamers and as an exceptionally committed community, have the power to influence. And it's this influence that we must continue to exert constructively but firmly. You now have a complete understanding of the Flight Blades controversy, what it means for the future of Star Citizen, and why it has shaken the community so much. If you found this analysis useful, feel free to leave a blue thumb and subscribe for more content on the Star Citizen universe. I intend to regularly break down new features, controversies and developments in the game to help you see things more clearly. And I'd really like to know where you stand on the matter. Do you agree with CIG's position? Do you think the community overreacted, or do you rather think, like me, that this was a crucial moment to define the future direction of the game? Between you and me, I think this kind of community mobilization is exactly what keeps Star Citizen a special project despite the difficulties. Few games can boast a player base so invested that it actively shapes its development more than 10 years after the project's launch. Then keep on giving your opinion. Continue to defend your vision of the game. Continue to make Star Citizen the best game it can be. On that note, that was Vega Blaine, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget, the real power isn't in your ship's components, but in the hands of those who fly them. And between us, with or without Flightblade, the important thing is to have fun.